Welcome to Peppa's house. But something is terribly wrong today. The sun has turned dark, and the cheerful yellow walls now seem to whisper secrets of the past. Peppa stands in her living room, but her pink skin has turned a sickly green, and her innocent smile has been replaced by rows of sharp, yellowed teeth. "Hello, my dear friends," Peppa says, her voice echoing strangely through the empty house. "Would you like to play a game with me? It's a very special game, one that never ends." The camera moves closer to Peppa's face, revealing the stitches that hold her features together. Her eyes glow with an unnatural light as she tilts her head to one side. "Daddy Pig tried to leave us once," she continues, her voice becoming deeper and more menacing. "But we convinced him to stay forever." In the kitchen, we see Daddy Pig sitting at the table, but his body is motionless, his eyes staring blankly ahead. Green veins pulse beneath his pale skin, and his mouth hangs open in a silent scream. "He's much happier now," Peppa giggles, the sound like breaking glass. "Mummy Pig is upstairs getting ready for our tea party," Peppa announces as she begins to climb the stairs. Each step creaks ominously under her weight. She's been preparing for hours and hours and hours. The bedroom door opens with a long, drawn-out squeak. Inside, Mummy Pig stands facing the mirror, but her reflection shows something else entirely. A twisted, demonic version of herself with glowing red eyes and a mouth full of fangs. She's practicing her smile, Peppa explains cheerfully. "And George, oh, poor little George." Peppa's voice drops to a whisper as she approaches her brother's room. "He didn't want to play at first, but now he understands. Now he knows that family stays together, no matter what." George sits in the corner of his room, his dinosaur toy clutched in his hands. But the toy has changed too. Its plastic has melted and reformed into something grotesque, with too many teeth and eyes that seem to follow you. George's own eyes have turned completely black, and when he speaks, it's not his voice that comes out. "Dinosaur," George says, but the word stretches and distorts, becoming something inhuman and terrifying. "We're all here now," Peppa says, standing in the hallway as shadows dance around her. "All together, just like we always wanted. And soon, you'll join us too. Won't that be wonderful?" The house begins to shake and the walls start to bleed a thick, dark substance. Family photos on the walls show the Pig family, but their faces change as you watch, smiling one moment, screaming the next. "You see, this house has special rules," Peppa continues, her form beginning to shift and change. "Once you enter, you become part of our family, and family never leaves. Family never dies. Family just changes." The camera pulls back to show the entire house, now twisted and wrong, with windows that look like eyes and a door that resembles a gaping mouth. The cheerful yellow has turned to a sickly green, and vines of some unknown plant crawl up the walls. "So come inside," Peppa's voice echoes from everywhere and nowhere. "Come and play with us. We have so many games to show you, games that last forever and ever and ever." The front door swings open by itself, revealing only darkness beyond. But in that darkness, shapes move, the silhouettes of other children who came to play and never left. "Welcome to our family," all the voices say in unison, creating a chorus of the damned. "Welcome home." As the camera slowly zooms into the darkness of the doorway, we hear the sound of children laughing, but the laughter is wrong, distorted, filled with an ancient hunger that can never be satisfied. "And remember," Peppa's voice whispers one final time, "in our house, playtime never ends. Never, ever, ever ends." The screen fades to black, but the laughter continues, growing louder and more twisted, until it becomes a scream that seems to come from the very depths of hell itself. And then, silence. The kind of silence that makes you wonder if you're truly alone, or if something is watching you from the shadows, waiting for you to come and play. It's Monday morning and Peppa is excited to go to school. But as she approaches the familiar red brick building, something feels different today. The windows seem darker and the cheerful yellow school bus sits empty in the parking lot, its doors hanging open like a gaping mouth. "Good morning, children," says Madame Gazelle, but her voice echoes strangely through the empty hallways. Her usual warm smile has been replaced by something cold and mechanical. "Today we're going to learn about forever." Peppa enters her classroom, but her friends are already there, sitting perfectly still at their desks. Susie Sheep turns her head toward Peppa, and her eyes are completely black. "Hello, Peppa," she says in a voice that doesn't sound like her own. "We've been waiting for you." The classroom walls begin to shift and change. The colorful drawings that once decorated them start to move and writhe, showing scenes of children who never went home. The alphabet on the wall rearranges itself to spell out words that make Peppa's skin crawl. Stay, forever, play. Today's lesson is about friendship, Madame Gazelle announces, her form beginning to stretch and distort. And how true friends never leave each other. Never, ever, ever. Pedro Pony raises his hand, but when he speaks, his voice is a hollow whisper. "Teacher, why can't we go home?" His glasses reflect not the classroom, but endless darkness filled with moving shadows. "Because, my dear Pedro," Madame Gazelle replies, her neck extending unnaturally as she leans down toward him. "This is your home now. This has always been your home." The school bell rings, but instead of its usual cheerful chime, it sounds like screaming. The sound echoes through the corridors, bouncing off the walls and growing louder and more distorted with each repetition. Peppa tries to run, but the hallways stretch endlessly before her. Classroom doors slam shut as she passes, and behind each one she can hear the sound of children reciting lessons that were never meant to be learned. "Peppa, where are you going?" calls Rebecca Rabbit from behind a door marked "Detention Forever." "Don't you want to play with us? We have such wonderful games here." The playground outside has transformed into something nightmarish. The slide has become a twisted spiral that leads down into darkness. The swings move by themselves, carrying the ghostly forms of children who attended this school long, long ago. "Welcome to recess," announces a voice over the intercom. But it's not Madame Gazelle anymore. It's something else, something that has been waiting in this school for decades. Today's game is hide and seek. But remember, children, in our version, once you're found, you can never hide again. Peppa finds herself in the school library, but the books are all wrong. They tell stories of children who came to school one day and never left, of teachers who forgot what it meant to be human, of lessons that went on for eternity. The librarian, Mrs. Cow, looks up from her desk. Half of her face is missing, replaced by shadow and static. "Looking for something to read, dear? I have just the story for you. It's about a little pig who thought she could escape." "But I don't want to read," Peppa whispers, her voice barely audible in the oppressive silence of the library. "Oh, but you must," Mrs. Cow insists, her remaining eye glowing with an unnatural light. "Reading is fundamental. And in our school, education never ends. The cafeteria is the worst of all. The lunch ladies serve meals that move and squirm on the plates. The milk has turned black, and when Peppa looks into it, she sees the faces of all the children who came before her, trapped forever in this place of learning that became a place of horror. "Lunchtime," calls out the head cook, but her voice comes from everywhere and nowhere. Today's special is despair, served with a side of eternal detention. As Peppa runs through the school, she realizes that every door leads back to the same classroom. Every hallway circles back to the same spot. The school has become a maze with no exit, a prison disguised as a place of education. "You can't leave, Peppa," says a chorus of voices, all her friends, all her teachers, all the children who came before. School is in session and class never ends. We're all here together, learning the most important lesson of all. "What lesson?" Peppa asks, though she's afraid to hear the answer. "That some places never let you go," they reply in unison. "That some friendships last forever. That some schools never close." The final bell rings, but it's not the end of the day. It's the beginning of an eternal lesson, where the only subject is fear, and the only graduation is into something far worse than ignorance. "Welcome to your new education, Peppa," whispers the school itself, its walls breathing and pulsing like a living thing. Class is now in session, forever and ever and ever. And in the distance, the sound of children reciting their ABCs echoes through the halls, but the letters they speak spell out words that should never be learned, lessons that should never be taught, and knowledge that comes with a price too terrible to pay.